This morning I got an email from the AFR, and it was a snap poll on monetary policy. And the question I was asked was, could you please give me your forecast for the RBA's next move? When, by how much, and why? And I replied rapidly that I thought the next move by the RBA would be March 21. And then in March next year, the RBA would reduce bond purchases from $4 billion a week to $3 billion a week. And the cash rate would remain unchanged. And the reason they would do that would be a strong rebound in the economy and falls in unemployment. I got a very rapid reply. I was looking for the cash rate forecast. Sorry, when you would expect the next move to happen. And I replied to that, there's no point in moving the cash rate until quantitative easing has come to an end. Even then, the choices between beginning to run down the assets that have been built up by the RBA before increasing the cash rate. I went on, the RBA will not want to increase the cash rate before the Fed increases the Fed funds rate for fear of driving the Aussie dollar too high. The most likely time for the Fed to hike rates is in the first quarter of 2023. We know this already because of the Fed summary of economic projections that's been published. The RBA would then likely to be following the Fed. Only then, or until then, the only tightening of monetary policy that is likely to occur would be a gradual tapering through 2022. This must be completed first before the Fed funds rate or the cash rate begin to rise. What this discussion revealed was that there's a lack of understanding in the media about what's actually happening in monetary policy. In 2020, the RBA cut its cash rate to 0.1%. And that was because that's what the Federal Reserve did. And then both of them began quantitative easing. They both began to buy bonds. Now, the reason they were buying bonds was to reduce the long-term interest rate. The reason for reducing the long-term interest rate is to increase private investment in the economy, both in the Australian economy, in the RBA's case, and in the US economy, in the Fed's case. And the reason you reduce bond yields, you increase investment, is to generate rapid employment growth, to bring down unemployment. That's what this is all about. Now, to put that in reverse, what the Federal Reserve and the RBA have to do is they have to taper. And tapering means they will reduce the rate of purchase of bonds. So what I expect is that next year the RBA, which is already beginning to taper, will reduce its bond purchases to about $3 billion in March, probably cut them back to $2 billion in June, and back to $1 billion a week by September. But by the end of next year, probably reduce its bond purchase to zero. Only then, when we get into 2023, will there be any increase in the cash rate or the Fed funds rate. And then rates will go up to some kind of normal area, assuming that unemployment has continued to fall. What this shows is that most of what is happening in monetary policy right now is in quantitative easing. It's going to be quite a while before short rates are going to be an issue in where monetary policy is going at the next RBA meeting or the next Fed meeting.